Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session with Art for Elderly. My name is Jeannie Kim, and I will be your instructor for this session. For this session, our team thought it would be worthwhile for the theme to be Chinese New Year, otherwise known as Lunar New Year. This year, it will be held on Friday, February 12th, and it is a day of many celebrations, and so I'm sure it will be a happy time for all of you. Here we have the words that we will be learning throughout the lesson today. So in English, we first have the sun. We have the color red. We have the noun light, the noun dark, and celebration. So please go over each word now before you continue on with the lesson. We're going to start off this lesson by learning a little bit about Chinese landscape painting history. And so this painting here that you see, we are going to travel back to the year 1200. And this piece is titled Cloudy Mountains by Mi Yuren. I apologize for my bad pronunciation. He was known for using very simple shapes for his mountains, and this process, called wet ink dots, was what made him unique from other artists. This is also called ink play by artists, and the style speaks to the importance of the mind. So how we paint is based on how we think about the world. So when we paint today, I would like for us to do the same thing, where we focus on simple shapes and have simple thoughts. So have a positive and happy mindset as we continue on with our painting. This next piece, we are fast forwarding to the year 1959. So it is a much more modern take on Chinese landscape painting. You see here, this time, there is a strong use of light and dark. You see the light mountains in the background and the dark mountains at the front using ink. We also see in this painting a red sun on the top right corner. We can really imagine light illuminating from the sun as the sky around it is brown/red in tone. This piece is titled "The Land is So Rich in Beauty" by Fu Baoshi and Guan Shanyu. And this Chinese landscape painting is very unique in that there's a sense of motion depicted in the mountains, the clouds, and the water. The lines are very expressive and detailed. This is something that we can also try to use for our paintings as we try to find our own style. And finally, we have reached the year 2015. So that was 6 years ago from now. And here we can really see a shift from focusing on black and white to an exploration of color. It's really striking to see all of these colors of pink, green, and blue, along with the dark lines for the mountains. That really makes this painting modern. There's also a very strong sense of light and dark. Dark from the night sky in the background, but also interesting in that both the sun and the moon is represented. This piece is titled The Sun and the Moon of the Peach Blossom Spring by Lo Ching. He is currently a professor in the United States, and he really takes Chinese ink painting and its materials and uses a modern spin to it in the way he paints along with the things that he paints. So in this painting, you see the cherry blossoms and the houses and the rocks that are quite realistic and not commonly seen in historical Chinese landscape paintings. So for your painting, I would encourage you to play around with colors. You don't have to choose the colors that I've chosen for my painting. And once you've painted the basics, you can also feel free to add your own details. So maybe you will add the sun and the moon, or paintings of small houses and trees in the background. That is completely up to you, and that will make that painting your own. And so now, here is the painting that we will work on together. You can see that I've taken inspiration from the historical paintings that we saw, but also added a lot more color, simplicity, and contrast to the whole painting. We can also see that I added a red sun, and there's a very strong light illuminating from it, surrounding the clouds. And I used blue for the mountains because blue is very calm in nature, but feel free to use a different color for this. For example, black. And on the left, we see a pine tree along with its pine leaves. And before we move on to part 2 of our session, please make note that on the top left will be the layer that we will be painting, and on the bottom right will be either the terms in English/French, as you can see here, and there will also be some black text that will be the instructions for that point of the lesson. Okay, Now please head on to part 2 and I'll see you there.